Happy Tuesday, and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang practice session, where you'll learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give you a brief overview of this Satsang session. If you direct your attention towards your screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These practice sessions are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these practice sessions, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. It is my pleasure to introduce an individual whose journey with our organization spans from childhood to her early 20s. She is the eldest daughter of Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji, and as a dedicated member, she has actively participated in satsangs both in the United States and India. Her unique experiences and insights acquired from her involvement with Ram Ashram Satsang make her an invaluable asset to our community. Today, as she joins us, she embodies the spirit of commitment and growth that our organization cherishes. Let's give a warm welcome to Ms. Parul Kumar.
Thank you, Eddie. Amazing introduction as always. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who chose to be here tonight. Can't wait to meditate with you all. And my dad couldn't be here, but I did decide on a topic around surrender from a spiritual perspective and letting go of control. So we'll go into the topic and then we will meditate together. And then Eddie, if you would like to give a closing note, we will end with Eddie's note and then an interactive session. So today's topic is surrendering. And on any spiritual path, especially one where the end goal would be moksha or enlightenment, surrender is one of the keys, especially towards the end, where we would be literally giving up, our ego, our identity, and becoming one with the whole, right? With the light. So, and I was thinking about letting go, especially in the human condition. We're so um, we're so charged up with wanting to control things, and spirituality is all about flow and acceptance and, letting go. So when you start to meditate in the very beginning process, it's kind of a process of just letting go of thoughts and letting silence into your life, especially now when we live in such an overstimulated society, right? There's social media, there's TV, there's so many ways to fill up your time and space and energy. And when you start connecting with the silence, you start creating more space for, that light, that higher power to come in and kind of take over. And it gives us almost this peace just by being in silence, because we get that break from the overstimulation that's going on all the time these days. But, I was thinking that when we control and we try to, control everything in our life, try to steer things, force things, be in this kind of desperate energy, it actually slows down the process of, your spiritual journey, what you're doing in your life. It can get very stressful. You can even get sick. So, rather than going towards stress and forcing, allowing yourself to have these practices like meditation, it really allows us to tap into something where we get to relax. And we can't really experience peace without first, relaxing the mind, body, and soul. And that's why, this meditation specifically with satsang, where we connect with the light and we sit in the silence, there's so much that we get to experience, especially with everything of how society is structured today. Um, just having 5 to 10 minutes where you put everything away and you get to sit with yourself. It's actually kind of a privilege in today's society. So, surrender in the spiritual essence, it's about trust, it's about flow, it's about acceptance, allowing things to happen and going from that desperate energy to that flow state, right? Like people who are in any kind of creative field know when you tap into that flow state, things just start happening for you. So, as I was saying before, at the end of this spiritual journey, we have to let go of the ego and we have to surrender to a higher power and becoming one with that light, with that higher energy. So, not being too identified with your identity, not being too identified with your thoughts, not being too identified with the things you do in the world, that all is, encompassed within letting go of control. You can still have those things, but being attached to those things creates a little bit of a block when it comes to your spiritual journey. So, surrendering is very important on this journey, but in order to get there, we have to just slow down a bit, relax, decompress into the present moment, and enjoy that silence. Make space first for the miracles to happen. And that's why we meditate here. We grow the muscle of connecting with the light, sitting in the silence, so that we can cultivate that energy of love within us from the spiritual sense. And so that we can keep surrendering to the faith, keep surrendering to flowing through life rather than forcing and chasing things. And then trusting that on the other side of this faith and acceptance, this allowingness is what my dad calls the ocean of peace. And that's what we're really here to become one with, right? First to experience peace in, a minute or two, and then to expand that peace more and more and more as you keep meditating, as you keep connecting with silence, as you keep connecting with that light. So on that note, I would love to get into today's meditation. If we can start that slide. So this is the inner yoga that's described by Guru Maharaj. And he basically said that we need to visualize a light, divine light outside of us. As we close our eyes, we visualize that light. We see that light going specifically into your heart and then immersing your entire body, your energy field in this beautiful light. and then we go into silence. First, we'll have some music play, then we'll do a silent meditation, and then we'll end the meditation with a quick closing note and an interactive session. And that's that. So let's get into meditating.
Good evening, everyone. Good day as well, I guess. Today, Paul talked about surrender, and I just wanted to point out some interesting thing, and I think will be a benefit to you and maybe even the people around you. But first, I just wanted to summarize that what Paul said is that when we surrender, we no longer think of ourselves as being the doers, and so we turn inward and consciously recognize that God or Guru is actually the doer. And in that, we find rest and peace. Now, this state of surrender is a state that we must accomplish um, in order to achieve yoga. So it's actually a part of the process as well. Once we have that conscious recognition that we are not the doer and so forth, we find peace in that, and we let our will follow that of God or Guru. Um, and so, what I wanted to point out is that being in the West, I think this will be kind of important because you'll be able to relate to some of the people here, and that is that in the West, this is what we call the Sabbath or Shabbat. So, it's practiced in the external form in the sense that people retire from doing their worldly activities for a day, and during that time, they reflect on some spiritual stories or maybe practice meditation and so forth. But they rest from their worldly activities for the most part, and what that really is doing is just observing in the worldly sense that we are not the doers, that God is the doer, and we should recognize that. And in the spiritual sense, that translates into um, our will is the tiny will. God's will is the ultimate will that we must yoke ourselves to and follow that will. And in doing so, we find peace and happiness and joy within ourselves. So I just wanted to mention that um, because there's so many commonalities sometimes in the things that we practice in terms of spirituality and religion, and people don't see the links. And so I think this is an important one. So when they actually practice Shabbat, those who observe it, they're really doing what we're told to do here, and that is surrender. Practice surrender. Um, and again, we achieve that through our every time we meditate. Basically, we turn within and we try to find peace, and we try to find the transcendental source of the transcendental light, and we try to find peace, light, and love. And so that's basically it. And then the other thing I just want to reiterate is that it's not just a daily thing. Yes, it's practiced maybe one day out of the week, or maybe we practice doing this 2 times a week, but it's really a state that we want to maintain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When we can do that, we can say we've made great progress and we're in a higher state of consciousness. And I guess in that sense, the last thing that is and Paro mentioned this as well, and the last stage that we must accomplish is ridding ourselves of the ego. And when we do that, then we reach that ocean of bliss that Sanjiji always talks about. So that's kind of what I had today. I just wanted to share that, and just make mention that although we do practice different religions and spirituality and so forth, there's really a lot that we share. Haru?
Thank you so much. I always love what you say. Yeah, it just rings true. I've also noticed that in other religions, there's so many ties with just some small things, like whether it's rest, relaxation, prayer. There's so many things that do overlap, but unfortunately, you know, it's not like all allowed to coexist as of right now. Hopefully, it will one day. But yeah, I loved everything you said. And yeah, if anyone else wants to chime in, feel free. let us know how the meditation was. Or you can drop in the chat a question or anything for either of us. But outside of that, I think amazing session today. And thank you guys again for joining, for meditating with us and taking the time out of your day. And yeah, I hope it was good. If anyone does want to talk, feel free. You can hop on. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to end it here then. Thank you guys again for showing up today. And we'll see you on Saturday. And thanks again, Eddie.
Thank you, Parul. Enjoy
Thank you.
meditation today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Pranam.
Oh, of course. Hello. How are you guys? Amazing. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.